thought that there is about 24 hours of this war left, we'll probably find ourselves in northern Kuwait this evening. The aim before was to defeat the armies in Kuwait so they'd have to withdraw to fill in with the UN resolution. What we're now seen to be doing is destroying his materiel so that he can't wage war again. At last, somebody, us, you, me, are teaching a bad guy the lesson. And he's being put down so hard that he's not going to get up again. Or at least not in the next decade and a half.
We'd just taken a gun position and we're waiting for the charges to blow the barrels to make the guns inoperable.
And there was just a mass explosion which blew us back in the turret. About 30 seconds to a minute after we jumped out, our wagon got it as well.
We couldn't tell where it was all coming from. We were all obviously getting upset because we couldn't do nothing to stop what was happening.
2 people escaped out the back, which was very lucky, and the other 5 just, there's no hope for them.
There was nothing that we could do to react to the situation. We were just static and helpless, so we feel totally empty and lost now.
We took a knock yesterday. You're all grown men, you're all soldiers, and we go on. We go on, boys.
Fighting at night like this, the British have a distinct advantage. Using their superior night sights, they can see and hit an enemy before becoming a target themselves. I can see the flashes reflected. Do you want me to start only when I see them?
Oh yeah, it's coming. Yeah, slowly.
Well, I wonder if the easiest thing to start with is tell me what you saw. I mean, did you actually see the first explosion?
No, I didn't actually see the first explosion. I heard the first explosion. I mean, we was about 30 metres away in the wagon, waiting for the guns to be blown. And there was just a mass explosion which blew us back in the turret. And then when we looked out and seen the wagon had been hit, we moved round in front of the wagon to help with the casualties. And about 30 seconds to a minute after we jumped out, our wagon got hit as well.
So what happened when your vehicle was hit? You were outside. Were you thrown off your feet?
I was on my way back to the vehicle to get the lads out to help with the casualties, and I was blown back off my feet. Yeah. So I think we was very lucky that we got out the turret when we did. Otherwise,
what was the extent of the damage? Were you able to see what had hit the vehicle?
You couldn't see what hit the vehicle. It was just there was just nothing left of the wagon. It was just in flames and pieces. I mean, there was 2 people escaped out the back, which was very lucky, and the other 5 just there was no hope for them.
How did the people who escaped manage to get out?
I wasn't round the back at the time when they got out. I think they jumped out to help with the casualties off the first wagon when the second one went up, and they just caught the shrapnel off the second wagon. So, I mean, there was nothing we could do to help them. We tried, just nothing.
How do you approach it, and the other lads here approach it now when that's happened and you have to get on with it, and you were still fighting last night?
Well, it happened and everybody's shocked and everybody's upset, but you've just got to get on with it and do the best you can. You've just got to try and get over it.
What was the effect amongst the other lads here? I mean, you've all been together for a long time now.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was upset and you just got to face it. You just got to get on with it and do your job.
Smashing well done. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay. You were very close when this happened. Can you tell me what you saw?
All that happened was we'd just taken a gun position and we're waiting for the charges to blow the barrels to make the guns inoperable so they couldn't be used again by the enemy. And there was an explosion preceding what we were told, the time that we were told the charges would go off. And the next thing we got told over the radio that one of our call signs had been blown up. We went round D-bus to help the casualties. As we were getting to the first lot, the second vehicle was hit. This of course caused confusion because we couldn't tell where it was all coming from, and we were all obviously getting upset because we couldn't do nothing to stop what was happening. So all we did was just get round our wounded that were still left and get them to safety and start helping them as best we could until the medics got to them, and then eventually they got casevac'd.
What was the extent of damage to the vehicles? These are armoured vehicles. What was the size of the hole in the vehicle?
The holes were a good 6 inches across. It was, whatever hit them was big. It definitely wasn't a handheld device. That's still a mystery to us, what actually caused it. The first vehicle was hit rear side on, sort of like where we are now, and the second vehicle was hit central side on, and it blew the kit that was on it straight off and totally crumpled up the side of it. The tracks were left intact, but the whole of the body was just punctured and set alight, and of course totally destroyed when the ammunition went off as well.
How were the people inside those two vehicles who escaped able to get out?
Luckily, when the anti-tank weapons hit, because doors and hatches were still open, there was no great pressure built up what anti-tank weapons cause. So they blew what hatches and doors were open, and those people obviously threw themselves out. A few had to be dragged out by ourselves, but they weren't totally incapable. Some of them were running, panicking as they went, but they were running.
What effect does this have on a unit of young soldiers that's never seen conflict before, and right up until that moment had been so confident because things were going so well, there hadn't been any serious casualties?
Well, that's the worst thing. We did feel things were going so well. We were sitting in the back quite confident, thinking that we've got these and it's easy. And the worst thing is we've been taken out. It's been mostly dismounted personnel that have been taken out. And of course we haven't got out and mixed it with the enemy, so we feel a total waste of life, because we never saw anything. There was nothing that we could do to react to the situation. We were just static and helpless, so we feel totally empty and lost now.
Very much the same lines, really. I mean, when did you first realise that something had gone very wrong?
Well, we were sitting in the back of the wagon. We were waiting for the explosion of the guns. We were just taking a gun position, waiting for the engineers to blow up a gun barrel, just so then we couldn't use it again. And heard a big explosion, and we thought that was the gun barrel being blown up. And then they came over the net at 2-2, the call sign, had sustained the casualties. So,
what state was the vehicle in the first time you saw it?
Bad. It was half the wagon was missing, and then got the fire extinguishers from the back of the wagon. That was pointless. And then just got the guys to the medical wagon, slapped some first field lessons on them.
Was there much you could do for the people who were injured?
For the people who were injured? Yeah, they're sorted them. They're okay, no problem with them. Just cuts and flash burns, singed there. That was okay.
Did you have any clue at that time as to what had caused it?
No, couldn't have been anything handheld. Not to do anything with the chum. Something from the air. So I think. Something from the air. Very powerful.
Did you see anything in the air at the time?
No. But couldn't have been anything from the ground. Not to be so accurate. Not the 2 rounds come in so fast and so accurate.
How are the lads here coping with it? I mean, it's very close in this particular company, isn't it?
Yeah. We've all shed some tears. But the thing is, what we've got to do now is channel that aggression into what's going to happen up ahead of us there and stuff them. See if we can get some revenge back.
Well, either of these boys washing, really. But I'll wait till the bike is gone. Have you putting this stuff on?
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same subject as talking to the other lads about. What did you actually see yesterday?
It was just heard a big explosion. Our vehicle, this one, just drove over. Most of them dived out. We left half the section inside the vehicle, and we just headed towards. It was just a load of confusion, just explosions going off all over the place. I just walked over to the vehicle. There was troops coming back from the vehicle who were in bits. They didn't know where they were. Carried on walking towards the vehicle. Someone come up to me with his head was covered in blood, and he was just wandering all around the place. He didn't know what was going on, so I grabbed hold of him, and then next thing there was just another explosion. And
How close was that to where you were? Could you feel it?
it hit me straight in the face. It's cut my nose, and I just dived to the floor. I didn't know what was going on. And I
Could you tell what had caused the explosion?
There was 4 of us. We thought we were being DF'd. We thought there was artillery coming down on us. So we just tried to get out of the area as quick as possible. And we didn't know what was going on. I crawled away, and I crawled under the vehicle. I crawled back to my own vehicle. And someone was shouting, "Get away from the vehicles, because you're next." So I got up. There was 4 of us ran away from the vehicle, and we didn't know what was going on. We were just all confused. So I don't know.
Right, it's all on the same theme. But what did you actually see of the 2 explosions?
Well, on the first explosion, I was sitting in the back of the wagon and I just heard the first. So we came running out to see what was going on. And then when the initial second blast went off, I was knocked over, so I didn't see much of it. Just heard it.
Did you see what might have caused it?
I haven't got a clue. There's nothing around for a KR2. Nothing big enough to do what it did to that wagon.
Had there been any signs up until then that Iraqi troops who might have had handheld weapons had been firing at you, or had it been quiet?
According to one story that's going around, there was 2 an RPG position, but they were supposed to have had their hands up and were waving white flags. But whether that's true or not, I couldn't tell you.
You didn't actually see whether it was a person or a vehicle or a plane that did it?
No, didn't see anything until the blast went off. Nothing.
What's the mood now amongst the lads here? Because it was a very, very close community here, wasn't it?
A lot of people want to get their revenge, you could say, for what happened. I mean, at one point, I was beginning to feel a little bit sorry for the Iraqi troops and that, but not anymore. I don't care about them anymore.
Come on, hurry up! Standard! Hey! Relax. Look in. When I last talked to you 4 or 5 days ago before we started the movement sequence, I didn't expect to have to or need to talk to you before it's all over. If we could just ignore these folk, you're looking at me, all right? Two or three things, boys. First one is, it has gone very, very well. The assessment on the part of the divisional commander is that 1st UK Armoured Division have defeated one complete armoured division. 3 brigades, artillery brigade, headquarters, logistics and echelons. Over 70 to 80 kilometres of country behind their front line. It's thought that there is about 24 hours of this war left. So if you're feeling knackered now, you'll be a little bit more knackered in 24 hours' time. Maybe a little bit beyond that, 24 hours. What has changed, and this is my analysis, is what we're now doing. The aim before was to defeat the armies in Kuwait so they had to withdraw to fill in with the UN resolution. What we now seem to be doing is destroying his materiel so that he can't wage war again. At last, somebody, us, you, me, are teaching a bad guy the lesson. And he's being put down so hard that he's not going to get up again, or at least not in the next decade and a half. Our mission within the division on departure from here is to destroy his materiel. The division is going to move north and east, 7 Brigade leading, the artillery group 2nd, 4 Brigade 3rd. We'll probably find ourselves in northern Kuwait this evening. You're on 30 minutes notice to move. I would expect you, however, to be at 5 minutes by 10 o'clock, having washed and shaved. I know it's a very long 24, 48 hours. The details of axes and so on will follow. The next thing I wanted to say was the obvious. We took a knock yesterday. You're all grown men, you're all soldiers, and we go on. I'm very proud of you last night. It didn't seem to affect what we did in the slightest. So thank you very much indeed. We go on, boys. Next thing is to welcome the guys to replace from the Scots Guards. I don't even know which battalion. 1st Battalion, welcome. I don't envy you having to slot in. We've been doing this now for the best part of 3 months. We, all of us, will do everything we can to make you fit in properly. I expect, though, from you boys, 100%. 100%. Right. You are still the best. You were when we started, you still are now. Even with the knocks. Make sure it works that way. Right, so somebody to carry on.
In the light of what you've already heard, then I do not want 2 sounds, carry on.
Knife soon!
Just over here.
Jaguar makes engines, mate.
The dead and injured soldiers have already been replaced. The company has its new orders. They expect shortly to re-engage their enemy. This is Paul Davies with Britain's frontline forces for the British Television News Pool.
I'll do one more day in the march past.
Right. The dead and injured soldiers have already been replaced. The company has its new orders. They expect to shortly re-engage their enemy. This is Paul Davies with Britain's frontline forces for the British Television News Pool.
left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Colonel, if I could ask you, how has the campaign gone overnight for the British?
It's gone far better than we expected. It's been a very successful night. We've driven through some very difficult conditions, advancing to contact approximately 40 kilometres across the plain behind the lines of the enemy's defences, taking out his rear areas, his gun areas, and some of his logistic installations. It's gone extremely well. We've suffered no casualties. We've taken large numbers of prisoners, and most of the enemy seem to be giving themselves up in face of our advance.
Set it up.
Push it down.
Now Tuesday afternoon, 48 hours after we left the camp in Saudi Arabia. The infantrymen have spent most of that time crammed into the back of their armoured personnel carriers, but now their target is in sight.
Get your spanners out.
Right, mate, you ain't got to film it. No,